Hello again, and welcome to week 3 of the annual meeting broadcast. As a reminder, if you haven't already, please remember to cast your vote via the mail-in, electronic, or the Smart Hub format as outlined in the previous 2 weeks' recordings. Please feel free to go back and watch last week's video at your leisure, visiting our website or YouTube channel. I will start today by outlining one of the key cooperative differences you have as a member of Steuben County REMC. As you may or may not be aware, your cooperative operates on the premises of democratic member control. The power is in your hands as a member to elect and choose your representatives for the board of directors, who in turn guide the cooperative's business decisions on your behalf. The board of directors work diligently to ensure that we maintain fairly priced, reliable electricity for all, as well as ensuring the health and vitality of the cooperative. It is a unique practice in the business world, and one that makes us strong by giving you a voice and a vote. At this time, I would like to ask Jim McIntoffer, our corporate counsel, to give us an overview of this year's election process.
Thank you, Wayne. As legal counsel, I would like to briefly review the director nomination process as outlined by the bylaws of Steuben County REMC. All candidates wishing to run for a director's position must complete a petition that contains the signatures of 15 fellow members. Once completed, the petitions are then reviewed and placed on display in the cooperative office. Due to precautionary measures with this year's pandemic and lobby closure, this year's petitions have been posted on the Steuben County REMC website for your review. In an attempt to encourage members to participate, articles were published in the January, February, and March issues of the Indiana Connection publication, which is delivered to each household that maintains membership with the cooperative, as well as being sent out electronically to those enrolled. This article described the election process and called for interested individuals in districts 4, 5, and 8 to submit petitions. Information was also dispensed through social media and printed on member bills. Each candidate's picture and accompanying biography was then printed in the annual meeting notice that was mailed and emailed to each member's household, along with being included in the voting instructions. This year's candidates are District 4, Mike Kurtz; District 5, Carter Snyder; District 8, Larry Jack. Members then received a mail-in ballot, along with those enrolled in Smart Hub, received the option to vote online. Members were asked to vote for one candidate in each of districts 4, 5, and 8 in a contested election. As Gary outlined in week 1, survey and ballot systems were contracted to conduct the voting for this year's election. Voting is open from May 10 through June 10 to allow time to cast your vote. This year, 3 petitions were completed and returned to the cooperative office, leaving all director positions uncontested. Per the cooperative bylaws, voting to accept the director candidates for 2021 allows us to establish quorum. Along with receiving the tabulation of votes, we received a random weekly selection of members who submitted their vote to receive a $25 bill credit prize giveaway. I will now introduce Kevin Kaiser, your cooperative CEO.
Thank you, Jim. Many in Northeast Indiana, our nation and the world for that matter, have referred to 2020 as a lost year. And when we reflect on the hardships COVID brought to our lives, it's easy to see why. Just recall how our government was forced to take the unprecedented measures of shutting down our economy, requesting people to stay at home, causing businesses to close, and unemployment to soar. With our schools closed, our children's education suffered, and the full effects of this dramatic change may not be seen for years. Societal norms and interpersonal interactions were curbed, or in many cases eliminated, and even precious time spent with families such as grandparents and friends were lost and may never be recovered. However, as difficult a year as it was, there were some bright spots. The first and most important is the way our healthcare network and their professionals stepped up and worked tirelessly to help all those whose health was affected. They are true heroes, and we should be grateful to have them as part of our society. The second positive takeaway is how our basic and traditional infrastructure like electric utilities not only remained in place, but were capable of meeting our increasing service needs throughout the crisis. This includes the electricity your cooperative provides to Northeast Indiana. Throughout the pandemic, we were here every day to ensure that the power you needed was flowing and a sense of normalcy remained in place. At this time, I'd like to thank the employees for all of their efforts and dedication. The job they do every day has always carried a certain degree of risk. But this last year, they took on this challenge and then some. As you can see by looking at the financials, your cooperative finished the year with some of the strongest margins in recent history. The primary reason for this $630,000 increase can be traced back to three main areas. The first is the restrictions the pandemic brought about in helping to reduce many of our operating expenses, including those related to travel, training, and face-to-face member services. This same restriction also forced many of our members to stay at home and work, thus increasing residential load and sales to this revenue class throughout the year. Finally, we saw our wholesale power provider, Wabash Valley Power Alliance, temporarily reduce their margins to provide a reduction in power costs. This decrease was a conscious effort on their part to provide some relief to the member systems during a very uncertain time. In an attempt to provide further financial relief, your cooperative, in conjunction with Wabash Valley Power, were able to step up our general capital credit retirements. In the spring of 2020, we retired $464,000 from our generation and transmission cooperative to members receiving service in 2009 and 2010. In November of last year, $400,000 of capital credits related to the cooperative's operations were retired to members who received electric service in 1989, 90, and 91.